Hello friends and welcome back. So in this video we are going to cover the table section in HTML. In the last section we have discussed about the images section. So if you have not seen that video, then I will provide a link in the description. You can check out from there. So what actually a table is? So basically a table is the representation of some information in the form of a grid. So why do we need a table? So there are many situations in which we need to display several types of information in the form of a grid. Say uh, if it is a timetable or say result or certain data sets, so they need to be represented in the form of a table. So that is why we use the tables. So let us see how we can use table inside the HTML. So let us write some actual code. So inside of an HTML file, let us give it a title of say table. So whenever we want to use table, we can just simply write table and give a tab, so it is going to autocomplete. So anything which is, you can say, which we want to show in the form of a table is going to be included between the opening and closing table tag. So inside of a table tag there are three different elements, or you can say three different tags. So the first one is the table heading, the second is the table row, and the third is the table data. Also okay, so let us now see the difference. There are two types of table heading. So some developers use this th, and sometimes you may also come across something like t head. So let us understand the difference between this th tag and t head tag. So basically the t head tag is used when the table is large enough that it cannot be displayed on a single page in a browser window, whereas the th tag is used for the smaller sized table. So you can use any of the tag depending on your requirement and on your conveniency. So let us just start with the th. So any data which you want to insert in the table is going to be inserted in the form of rows. So the first row is going to be filled very first, and the data is going to be entered row after the row. So the first tag which you are going to write inside of the table tag is the tr tag, which stands for t row, means table row. So this is our first row. In the first row, let us consider we basically use the headings inside of our first row. So there are say 5 different types of heading. So let me just copy paste this 5 times. Okay, so these are the 5 headings inside of our first row. Let us name it say head 1. Let us say this head 2, head 3, head 4, and head 5. Okay, so this forms our first row. So now we want our second row. In the second row, let us add some data relevant to our heading. So to add the data, we use the td tag, which stands for the table data. So let us add any random string here, let's say abc. And as we are having 5 columns in our first row, there should be ideally 5 columns in each of the row. So this forms our second row, and let me copy paste this 4 more times to give it a look of an actual table. Okay, so now let us have a look how it is looking in the web browser. Okay, so it looks something like this. Okay, so if we see it now, so we cannot say like it as if it looks like an actual table. So basically we have to do a lot more work to make it look something like this. So we are going to make an actual table which looks something like this. So this is, not looking very near to something which we are going to make. So let us work on it. Okay, so the next thing which we are going to learn here is the call span and row span. So you have seen in certain tables that say a single data is repeated in more than one rows or more than one columns. So what we can do is we can just merge that two columns or two rows together, or you can say n number of rows or n number of columns together, and give it a single value. So let us understand it by an example. Say here we are. Okay, so let us first talk about the call span. So what is going to happen here is the two columns are going to be merged together. So we basically write this call span attribute, and inside of the call span we have to write the value which is equal to the number of columns we want to merge together. So let us say we want to merge say three columns together. So what we are going to do is we are not going to write the next three columns after it. So we are going to just comment it for now, and let us see what happens. Okay, so you can see that the three data corresponding to this head 3, head 4 and head 5 is being deleted, and the first row consists of only two data elements, which is the ABC here and ABC here. So we have just merged this three. Okay, just let me correct it, not the three, but including this call span cell, we have to just, we don't have to comment this one, just the next two. So including that, you can say cell, we have to just delete the next two in our case. So let us see here. Okay, so basically we have merged this head, the data corresponding to this head 2, head 3 and head 4 of the first, or you can say the second row. So to have a nicer look, we can just add a border to our table. Say 2 pixel would be good enough. So let us see. Okay, so now it looks something like a table, but yet it doesn't looks as good as this table. Okay, so the next thing which we will be going to learn is the row span. So let me just uncomment this. Okay, so whenever we want to use a row span, so we just basically have to write this row span, and now every data element corresponding to this row we have to delete. So say we have written the second data element inside of this row, so we are going to delete the next two data elements corresponding to the second column. So one from here and one from here. Let me just save it and let us see what is. Okay, so as you can see that we have merged these three rows together. So this is how the call span and row span works. So there are also two other attributes which we can use along with the table element. They are the cell spacing, and the second one is cell padding. So let us understand each one of them. So let us give it a spacing of say 2, and let's see what happens. So nothing considerable change we can see here. So let us say we can give it a value of 5. Okay, so now you can see the considerable difference, and let us give it a cell padding value of 5. Okay, so now it looks a way better than the earlier version. Okay, still you can see that the data which we have entered inside of the row is left aligned, so we don't have to do anything. So we are going to learn it in the CSS section, but what I am going to do here is add some style. So I am going to define a class, say CL, and I am going to align the text of it exactly in the center. And okay, so where we want, okay, so we want it in the tr. So instead of using a class, let me use the element itself. So let us see what happens. Okay, so now you can see that each element is being aligned center. If you don't know anything about styling, then you don't have to worry. We will cover it in detail when we are going to talk about the tables in CSS section and how to use styling. Okay, so the next important attribute, or you can say if you want to use or not, it is the uh, background color, so BG color. So here in our case, let us give it say a hexadecimal color which corresponds to a shade of gray. Okay, so here we go. So you can see that this table and this table, they looks basically the same. The only difference is in the border. So let us change the border value and see. Okay, and let us change some spacing and padding here. So let me see what have I written here. So I have given the cell padding equals to 5, and I have not given cell spacing. So let me just remove this cell spacing from here. Okay, so now it looks like the, let me just zoom in. Okay, so here was our original table, and here is the table which we just coded. So now that you are having all the basic information about how to work on tables, you can just try to create a table which we all are familiar with, is the modern periodic table. I hope that you all are knowing what it is. So okay, that's all for this video. If you are having any doubt, then you can ask me in the comment section. And also, if you want to check out other programming languages, then you can check other playlist on our channel. And don't forget to like this video, share this video, and comment on our video if you have any suggestions or any doubts. Also, we have provided a link to our WhatsApp group in which we are on the daily basis we are sharing the assignments. So if you are interested, then you can take a look at it. So see you in the next lecture, in which we will be covering the form section. So till then, thank you.